Welcome to the official Sales and Marketing for Beauty Conference podcast. This is your go-to destination for real-world insights on building, growing, and thriving in the beauty industry. Whether you're a beauty entrepreneur, a salon or spa owner, a product brand owner, or an aspiring professional, you're in the right place. Each episode is your personal masterclass in beauty entrepreneurship, from sales strategy and social media tips to brand building and behind the scenes stories from industry leaders. SAMB is more than a podcast or an event. We're a year round support system. Mark your calendar for SAMB 2025, our flagship conference happening November 5th through the 7th. It's a virtual event. And so we have a lot of global speakers as well as speakers there in the US and local to New York City. We'll also have some local networking opportunities, and there'll be virtual networking opportunities. And so there'll be hands-on workshops, one-to-one consultations, expert led sessions, all designed to help you scale and succeed and get real actionable strategies and tips to grow the sales and marketing function of your business, right? So stay tuned for the podcast. Make sure you check out our website, and we hope to see you at SAMB 2025.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Today, we're plunging into the incredibly dynamic world of beauty. We're specifically zeroing in on how to forge truly magnetic beauty brand, one that clients don't just use, but genuinely trust and absolutely adore. Our mission for you today is really to cut through the noise. We're using your shared sources to understand the real currency in the beauty world and, crucially, how you can master it. And here's a hint. It's not just about, the latest trending ingredient or some viral ad campaign. It's about something far more foundational. We're talking unwavering trust and the incredible power of narrative.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here, especially when you look at the beauty industry, is just how saturated it's become. It feels like every single week there are dozens of new products, new services, new brands, all vying for attention.
It's overwhelming, totally. And this intense competition means just being good isn't enough anymore, not even close. You have to stand out. And your sources make it abundantly clear that while trends are fleeting, the latest must-have ingredient or technique will inevitably fade, trust is the only true constant.
Right. It's the bedrock.
Exactly. It's the bedrock. It's what transforms a curious first-time buyer into a loyal, lifelong advocate. And honestly, it's often the biggest differentiator between a brand that's just, another option and one that becomes the go-to choice for people.
And it's such a personal choice too, isn't it? I mean, when you're talking about products you put on your skin, your hair, your body, it's not just a purchase. It feels like an intimate investment in how you feel about yourself. So in this incredibly crowded market, how do you actually build a brand that people not only love but fundamentally believe in? How do you create that kind of profound connection?
That's the absolute core question, isn't it? Consumers today aren't just buying a serum or a lipstick. They're investing in a promise, a feeling, maybe even an identity. And they reward brands they see as genuinely value-driven, not just with their money, but with their loyalty, their recommendations, their advocacy online.
Yeah, they become like superfans.
Exactly. And the research we've looked at provides a really clear roadmap for cultivating this kind of trust. It starts with principles that are less about those fleeting marketing tactics and much more about genuine, deeply embedded integrity.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Because once we agree that trust is everything, the big question is always, okay, where do I even begin? Our materials lay out 8 sort of distinct pillars for building that magnetic pull. But maybe let's look at them in 3 interconnected groups, starting with the foundation, building your authentic core. So the first pillar is all about defining what you stand for and living it. We all know a brand needs values, right? But in beauty, this isn't just about a mission statement on a website. What are the unique pressures on beauty brands today when it comes to living those values authentically? And how do consumers really scrutinize them?
That's such a critical point because unlike, say, buying office supplies, beauty products physically touch your body. So consumers are incredibly sensitive to brand value.
Much more personal.
Way more personal. Think about the whole clean beauty debate or the complexities around ethical sourcing, especially with global supply chains. Or just ensuring true inclusivity isn't just tokenism. Your sources really highlight that consumers today will scrutinize the entire life cycle of a product. So if a brand claims it's cruelty-free, they expect its entire supply chain to reflect that. No shortcuts. If it champions real beauty at every age, well, its campaigns better authentically feature diverse spaces, not just the same old airbrushed ideals.
People see right through the fakeness.
Instantly. The big pitfall here is performative action, just saying the right things. Consumers spot that immediately. One study in our materials showed that over 70% of consumers would actually abandon a brand if they perceived it as inauthentic or just kind of value washing. Authenticity in beauty, it's really the price of entry now.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So once you've defined those values and really committed to living them, the next logical step, based on the research, seems to be being consistently visual and verbal. It's not enough to be authentic. You have to show it consistently. What's the impact of this consistency? Does it go beyond just instant recognition in such a visual industry?
Oh, absolutely. It creates a really powerful psychological anchor for people. In just an instant, your visual identity, the logo, colors, packaging, website feel communicates your core values before anyone even reads a single word.
Like a visual shortcut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of how Glossier's playful pink instantly says approachable, or how The Ordinary's minimalist, almost lab-like design screams clinical efficacy, and your brand voice is just as vital. Are you luxurious and poetic, empowering and bold, playful, scientific? This consistency isn't just about looking polished. It builds familiarity.
Yeah.
And that familiarity breeds trust.
Right, like seeing a familiar face.
Precisely. It's instantly reassuring. When every single interaction, whether it's an Instagram post, a product description, or even a customer service email, echoes that same tone and visual identity, it just reinforces your brand's integrity. It feels solid.
Okay, so we've defined our values, expressed them consistently.
Yeah.
But a brand can still feel a little bit abstract, maybe. That brings us to the final pillar in this first group. Humanize your brand. People buy from people, right?
Yeah.
Not just logos. What's the unique power of that human connection in the beauty space where products are just so incredibly personal?
It's immense, truly. When a brand feels human, it builds empathy, it builds connection. It's not just about the founder's story, although that's often compelling. It's also about spotlighting the diverse team behind the scenes. Our sources suggest things like sharing a day in the life of a formulator, maybe showing how different team members' personal experiences actually inform product development.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and transparency about small challenges or learnings, not just constant wins, can actually build more trust because it feels real. Imagine a brand sharing the struggle of sourcing a sustainable ingredient than the triumph when they finally find it. That's way more engaging than just slapping a sustainably sourced label on it.
It makes it relatable.
Totally. And frankly, sometimes brands try so hard to be perfect and polished, they forget people appreciate a little bit of authentic quirkiness and vulnerability. Nobody trusts a brand that acts like it lives on some pristine, untouchable cloud,
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got our authentic core identity really nailed down. Now let's move to our second group of pillars. This seems to focus on empowering your audience. So it's about moving from just broadcasting your message to truly engaging and educating your clients in a way that deepens that trust we keep talking about.
Yeah.
The first one here is educate, don't just sell. Why is this so critical in beauty? It's an industry often filled with complex science and, let's be honest, sometimes confusing claims.
Well, it's because today's beauty consumer is just so much more informed and, frankly, skeptical than ever before. They're scrolling, they're researching ingredients, they're asking really pointed questions.
They're doing their own work.
They really are.
Yeah.
So simply listing ingredients on a label, that's not enough anymore. You need to explain them. Our sources suggest breaking down why certain concentrations of active ingredients matter, for instance.
Okay.
Or maybe distinguishing between different types of hyaluronic acid, but doing it without sounding like a dry chemistry lecture.
Right, keep it accessible.
Exactly. It's about empowering them with knowledge, not just overwhelming them with scientific jargon. Brands that manage to become a trusted source for information, maybe through digestible blog posts, simple social media explainers, or even interactive tools on their website, they position themselves as a true beauty partner. And this builds loyalty because you're not just selling a product, you're genuinely helping them make better, more confident choices for their own skin.
That leads perfectly into the next one. Prioritize real results over hype. The beauty industry has, well, a pretty long history of airbrushing and sometimes inflated claims. What makes a result truly credible today? And what should brands really watch out for in this kind of ethical minefield?
Yeah, this is where credibility is often won or lost. It goes beyond just simple before and after photos, which, let's be honest, can sometimes be manipulated with lighting or angles.
Easily done.
Very easily. Informed consumers today often want data. Our research points to the value of things like instrumental testing, validation from third-party labs, and detailed consumer perception studies. It's about showing, not just telling. So, for example, demonstrating a 30% increase in skin hydration after 4 weeks through actual clinical measurements, rather than just saying skin feels more moisturized.
Concrete proof.
Right. And the ethical consideration here is crucial. It means transparently showing any limitations, definitely avoiding airbrushing in results photos, and using diverse models for testimonials so people can see themselves reflected. Authenticity even means acknowledging that, hey, not every product works miracles for every single person. And counterintuitively, that honesty actually builds more trust in the long run.
Okay, so we've educated them, we've shown real proof. The next logical step seems to be create two-way relationships. This has to go beyond just replying to comments on Instagram, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's unique about fostering feedback in the beauty world, where personal experiences and sensitivities are just so varied?
Oh, absolutely. Trust is fundamentally built on listening. And because beauty is so incredibly personal, feedback isn't just about whether a product worked. It's about skin sensitivities, challenges with finding the right shade, or even subtle things like the scent experience. Brands need to actively solicit this feedback through reviews, DMs, surveys, maybe even community forums or groups.
Get proactive about it.
Exactly. But the real key is to then demonstrate that you're actually listening. Our sources highlighted brands that involved their communities in co-creation initiatives, like letting them vote on a new shade range, or even adjusting a formula based on common feedback about texture or irritation. When customers see their voice directly reflected in brand decisions like that, their emotional investment just deepens significantly.
It makes them feel heard, valued.
Precisely. It transforms a simple transaction into a genuine partnership. And that turns customers into passionate brand evangelists. They start doing the marketing for you.
Fantastic. Okay, so we've covered the brand's core identity and how to empower the audience. Now let's wrap up with our final two pillars, which seem to focus on delivering excellence consistently. Because I guess even with the best product and the strongest values, if the execution is sloppy or inconsistent, it can just shatter all that hard-earned trust, right?
Completely. You can do everything else right, but if the delivery fails, you've lost them.
So the first one here is deliver a seamless experience from start to finish. What are some specific pain points in, say, beauty e-commerce or service experiences that brands absolutely must nail to build trust?
Think about the entire customer journey. It starts with website navigation. Is it actually easy to find what you need? Then moves through checkout, delivery, and crucially, customer service if something goes wrong. Specific pain points often seen in beauty include trying to figure out the right shade online, understanding the return policy, especially for opened products.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Huge. Or just trying to get personalized advice without waiting forever or talking to a bot. Our materials really emphasize that every single interaction has to be smooth, professional, but also human. This could mean implementing things like virtual try-on technology, having incredibly clear and accessible FAQs, or offering customer support with real, empathetic people who can actually solve problems. If a client has an issue and it gets resolved quickly and effortlessly, that positive experience builds immense reliability and trust. That leads directly to repeat business.
Nobody wants friction.
Nobody wants friction, especially not when they're trying to buy something that's supposed to make them feel good.
Right. And finally, a pillar that often gets overlooked, maybe until there is a problem. Be transparent, even when it's imperfect. No brand is perfect, but how we handle imperfection says everything. What are some specific challenges here in beauty where things like ingredient changes or supply issues can feel like a really big deal to loyal customers?
Yeah, this is where a brand truly proves its integrity, its character. If there's a shipping delay, a formula change, maybe a supply chain issue, or even a product being discontinued, being proactive and completely upfront about it is non-negotiable. Our sources really underscore that trying to sweep issues under the rug erodes trust far more quickly than just acknowledging a problem and offering clear solutions.
Own it.
Exactly. Own it. Address the issue directly. Explain why it happened, briefly without making excuses. Offer alternatives if possible, and just demonstrate accountability. It shows respect for your customers. It's that moment when a brand says, look, we messed up, or here's a challenge we're facing and here's what we're doing about it, that can actually build more trust than if everything had gone perfectly smoothly.
It's about the honesty.
It really is. Consumers appreciate honesty. They don't actually expect perfection, but they absolutely demand integrity.
So those 8 pillars, Really lay out a robust foundation for creating that magnetic brand. That's a lot to execute well.
Yeah.
But all this amazing work, the values, the consistency, the relationships, the education, how do you make it all, how do you weave these elements together into something truly unforgettable?
Exactly. That's the perfect transition. This raises that important question. How do you take all these operational things, these value-based efforts, and turn them into something that truly resonates emotionally and sticks in people's minds? And that's where storytelling comes in. It's the powerful unifying force. Your second source really emphasizes this. Storytelling isn't just some clever marketing tactic tacked on at the end. It's a fundamental way to amplify all these trust-building efforts we've just discussed. It transforms them into a compelling narrative that people can actually connect with on an emotional level.
It feels like the human heartbeat of the brand then. In an industry where competition is so fierce and trends just disappear overnight, storytelling feels like one of the most powerful tools to genuinely stand out. It goes way beyond just product lists or sleek photos. It's that human narrative that builds real emotional resonance. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means transforming the mundane into the meaningful. A basic facial treatment can become a self-care ritual rooted in, say, ancient traditions. A simple shampoo isn't just a cleansing agent. Maybe it's a sensory journey infused with botanicals harvested under a full moon, if that fits your brand.
Right, connecting it to something bigger.
Exactly. Or a salon isn't just about getting a haircut. Maybe it's positioned as a sacred space for personal transformation, not just of hair, but of confidence, of identity. People don't just want results anymore. They want to feel something when they interact with your brand.
And every single beauty brand, whether they realize it or not, already has a story. It might be the hero's journey of a star ingredient, from its discovery in some remote region to its careful cultivation and formulation. It could be the transformation journey of a customer, highlighting how a product genuinely changed their skin, or maybe more deeply, their self-perception. Or perhaps it's the community-building arc, showcasing how the brand emerged from a real need for greater inclusivity or representation in the market.
Finding that core narrative.
Yes, and sharing that origin story visually, verbally, emotionally invites your audience into something much bigger than just a product. It invites them into a shared purpose. Our research shows that people remember how a story made them feel far longer and far more vividly than they remember a specific price point or even a product name. They'll remember the story of the founder who was a nurse, maybe, inspired to create gentle, healing formulas after seeing the harsh effects of chemotherapy on skin.
That's powerful.
Or the story of two sisters who built a salon where every single client felt safe, seen, and celebrated. These kinds of narratives forge profound loyalty because they're relatable, they feel authentic, and they're deeply human.
And that story doesn't just end with how the brand started, right? It truly lives on day to day. It breathes in your team's daily work, in the client transformations you choose to celebrate, in those genuine, heartfelt social media captions, and even in those little behind-the-scenes glimpses you decide to share. Even something like the meticulous design of your packaging or the distinct scent you choose for your treatment room can tell a powerful story. But only when it's intentional and deeply connected to your brand's bigger vision. It all becomes part of that overarching narrative.
And critically, telling these stories actively builds community. It's not just broadcasting. When brands show up with honesty, maybe a bit of vulnerability, and a clear purpose woven into their stories, clients begin to see themselves reflected in that story, and they instinctively want to be a part of it.
They feel connected to it.
Exactly. They start reposting your content, not just because the photo is beautiful, but because the message says something profound about them and their values too. They start referring friends because they genuinely believe in the values that your story represents. Word of mouth growth, which we know is the most powerful kind, grows exponentially faster when it's rooted in something people can emotionally connect with and stand behind.
Yeah, you can't buy that kind of advocacy.
You really can't. And the true beauty of storytelling, as your source points out, is that it costs nothing but attention and intention. It's not about writing some epic novel. It's about consistently anchoring everything you do in your why and speaking from the heart in a way that feels authentic to your brand's unique spirit.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together now. How do these two incredibly powerful concepts, building that unwavering trust through those carefully constructed pillars we talked about, and then weaving compelling stories, how do they reinforce each other to create that truly magnetic beauty brand? It feels like it's about a profound synergy. When your values genuinely match your visuals, when your promises align perfectly with your performance, and when your products truly meet your people's needs, you become more than just another option in a very crowded market. You become their beauty brand. their trusted choice.
Exactly. And this raises an important question, perhaps the final one. What does that ultimate synergy really look like in practice? A truly magnetic beauty brand isn't built on fleeting hype or chasing trends. It's forged through deep honesty, through consistency in everything you do, and through profound care for your clients. Storytelling is that powerful unifying thread that weaves all these essential qualities, the trust pillars, into a relatable human narrative, one that resonates deeply and builds that lasting loyalty. When your story connects, when it truly resonates with your audience, people don't just want to buy from you anymore. They want to root for you. They want you to succeed. And that right there is where sustainable, meaningful growth truly begins.
Wow, what an insightful deep dive today. Seriously great stuff. We've really explored how trust is the ultimate currency in the beauty world and how it's built through conscious effort across those key pillars. From defining and living your values and humanizing your brand to educating your audience and prioritizing real results, all the way to ensuring seamless experiences and embracing transparency, even when it's tough. And we've seen how authentic storytelling acts as that powerful thread, weaving all these elements into a brand that connects emotionally and builds that crucial, lasting loyalty. So as you, our listener, reflect on all this, what stands out to you from today's deep dive? What feels most relevant to your situation?
And maybe consider this as you move forward in an industry that is fundamentally built on the idea of transformation, transforming appearances, yes, but also confidence, and self-perception. How might your brand's unique story, how could it not only transform your clients on a personal level, but also create a lasting ripple effect, one that maybe impacts the broader perception of beauty itself? What kind of legacy does your brand story truly aim to build beyond just the sales figures? Something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in to the Song for Beauty podcast. This is a place where beauty meets community and it meets strategy and ideas. If anything resonated with you, if you were inspired, if ideas were sparked by this podcast, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, also share it. Be sure to check out www.samb Stay tuned, and we hope to see you at the SAMB for Beauty conference this year in November. It's a virtual conference, November 5th through the 7th. There's a lot of great resources. You're going to access workshops, one-to-one consultations, and membership. And then there are quarterly webinars for knowledge, and there's a knowledge base that you can access, all to support your efforts as you look at expanding some of your sales and marketing efforts for your business. We appreciate you checking in. Make sure to follow and check out the next episode.